We all agree that saving money is one of the key things that you need to do in order to build and to sustain wealth. However, in recent years, we've seen it become increasingly more difficult for households and, of course, individuals to save because about 65% of all working Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. And that is about 104 million people as it stands now. In the UK, the issue is no different. About 31% of people who are working in the UK are equally living paycheck to paycheck. That is why in this video, I'll be sharing the 10 smart ways that you can save more money and then ensure that you steer yourself towards the attainment of your financial goals. And so if you're new here, my name is Nana. I hold a master's degree in business finance. And on this channel, we discuss everything personal finance and personal development. And so without further ado, we go to the first point, which is selling unwanted items. So the first thing that you need to consider is the easiest way for you to get money in. And the easiest way is for you to trade the items that you already own that might not serve any value or deliver any purpose in the house as it stands now. So the easiest way to do that is to ask friends or family to help you to identify things in your house or in your room probably, or purchases that you've made in the last 6 months and then the last 1 year that are no longer serving any purpose or delivering any value to you, and to make it easier for you to sell. Because at this point, I know the objection that comes in is that, oh, but I've never done sales and it's not easy for you to sell. The best way to do that is to list them on Facebook Marketplace or to list them on Vinted or equally on eBay, and it makes it easier for you to sell these items. Before you realize, you'd have several offers coming in for those items that you might think may not serve any purpose in the house, and that is one way for you to get money in and to save more. The second way that you can actually save more is through budgeting. So there are two budgeting techniques that people tend to adopt. One is the 50-30-20 rule. So the 50-30-20 rule simply says that 50% of your income should go towards your needs. The further 30% can go towards your wants, and then the 20% can go into savings or investment. Or probably if you have any existing debt, you can offset that debt with the 20%. On the other hand, there is another technique that is very easy, and that is the 20-80 rule. So 20% of everything that you earn at the end of the month can go into savings or investment. And then the further 80% can take care of any basic needs or anything that might necessarily keep you going at the end of the month. So these are the two basic things that you need to do, or the two basic strategies that you can adopt when it comes to budgeting. And budgeting is not meant to place any restriction or limitations on your money or the freedom or the way you do things. Instead, it is meant to keep you on track and to keep you motivated to stick to the rule or to stick to your goals. That also ensures that you have financial discipline, and then you're likely also to attain your goals at the end of the month. This brings us to the third technique, and that is to try DIY. Now, there are several things that break around the house or just minor jobs around the house that we can do on our own. And then as opposed to outsourcing and then getting people paid to do those things, what we can do is to take it upon ourselves. For example, painting the house isn't something that you might necessarily have to outsource or pay someone per hour to get it done. It is very easy. You can get friends to even help you to make it faster. And that is one of the surest ways also for you to get money saved at the end of the month. This brings us to the fourth technique, and that is to increase your energy efficiency by decreasing your consumption. So there are three key ways that you can do this. One, by switching to LED bulbs. Two, you can do that by shutting or closing all gaps in your windows and in your doors, which reduces your energy consumption. Thirdly, you can do that by installing a programmable thermostat, which also helps you to control the energy levels and your consumption during the day and during the night, and more importantly, even when you're out of the house. Adopting any of these methods can ensure that you save up to £390 every year. And so that is one of the key things that you need to consider. Your energy efficiency is one of the key ways that you can actually cut costs and then save more at the end of the month. This brings us to the fifth technique, and that is to try online shopping. Now, impulse buying is one of the key reasons why people don't have anything saved at the end of the month, because anytime that they walk into a shopping center, it is much more easier for them to spot items that they didn't even have on their shopping list. And the best way to stay away from this and to keep your expenditure controlled is to shop online. So one thing that you can do is to buy everything online and then get it delivered to you. Now try as much as possible to make it as snappy as you can, because the more and more you go through several other items, the more and more you increase your chances of buying things that you don't even need or you might not even want in the first place. And so the goal is to keep it simple and to keep it straight. List a couple of items that you really need, go online and then shop and then get it delivered to you. Now, at this point, you might consider that, you're not even thinking about the delivery cost associated. Trust me when I tell you that if you have a problem with impulse buying, you're better off shopping and getting it delivered. Because at the end of the day, the delivery fee will be way lesser than what you might actually be buying in addition to the things that you had on your list if you were to walk personally or physically into a shopping center. And so that is one of the best ways for you to cut down cost and to save more. This brings us to the safe strategy, and that is to avoid standby mode for appliances at home. So more often than not, we put our appliances in standby mode and we think that it's not consuming. But contrary to that, the truth is that even when appliances are in standby mode, they are still consuming electricity. So what you want to do is to put them off on the plugs as opposed to putting them on standby. According to the Energy Savings Trust, you save on average £55 every single year if you're to put your items off on the wall as opposed to putting them in standby. And at this point, £55 might not mean a lot to you. However, over the years, if you were to do that for 10 years, that saves you a huge amount of money that you would have otherwise invested in the stock market and gain some returns. Any small amount of money is enough money to take you from where you are currently and then steer you towards the attainment of your financial goals. And that is why we're going through the steps meticulously to make sure that you make the right choices and then cut down on as much as you can and then save more. This brings us to the seventh technique, and that is washing on a lower temperature. So prior to researching for this video, what I used to do is that I used to wash on 60 degrees Celsius. However, after this video, I've adjusted the washing temperature to 30 and then 40% because it helps you to cut down on the energy consumption and then subsequently reduce the bills that you pay on a monthly basis. On average, you're looking at anywhere between 50 and 100 pounds every single year, and that is enough money to also push you towards the attainment of your financial goals. This brings us to the eighth technique, and that is to buy in bulk. Now, anytime that you buy items in bulk, it helps you to cut down on your expenditure, in that prices of items are usually likely to go up in the future due to inflation. And so if you're able to buy those things and to stock them up upfront, it also reduces the tendency of you having to purchase them in the subsequent years or subsequent months at a higher price. And that also ensures that, of course, you stick to your budget, you ensure financial discipline, and then also you have enough, more importantly, to invest or to save at the end of the month. This brings us to the ninth technique, and that is to save your pay rise. For most people, a pay rise simply means that more expenses or an opportunity for them to spend more. However, what you need to know is that if you really want to build wealth and to sustain yourself in the long run, you're better off saving the excess that comes in, because that ensures that you avoid lifestyle inflation and, more importantly, ensure the discipline of living below your means, which is also a prerequisite condition for you to build wealth and to sustain yourself. So the simplest thing you can do is to live like nothing happened and then invest or save the excess as compared to the previous year. And that excess from the previous year would ensure your financial freedom and steer you subsequently towards the attainment of your overall financial goals. This brings us to the last point, and that is to try cash instead of card. Now, increasing the friction associated with making payments and spending is one of the easiest ways for you to spend less and to save more. So as opposed to buying with cash or tapping, which is easier and of course something that we've all become accustomed to, try as much as possible and then withdraw cash, increasing the friction that is associated with spending and then also making it much more difficult for you to disburse money or to spend on items that you don't need even in the first place. And so that is it. These are the 10 smart ways that you can save more money and then ensure that at the end of the month you have enough left for savings and of course for investment, which would also steer you towards the attainment of your financial goals or becoming financially free. And so if you found value with this video, kindly smash the like button and subscribe, because subsequently we'll be shooting several videos on several techniques that you need to adopt in order to manage your finances well and to leave the chain of having to live paycheck to paycheck. Thank you, and see you in the next video.